Jake Paul has never been shy about flexing, but this time he went straight at one of the biggest flexers in sports history, Floyd "Money" Mayweather. A video of Jake mocking Floyd over the size of their private jets has resurfaced and is trending again, and it says a lot about where both men are in the money, status, and boxing game. In the clip, Jake strolls up to Mayweather's jet, laughs about how small it looks, points out that it only has 6 windows, then spins the camera to show off his own, boasting 14 windows lined across the side. Bigger jet, more windows, louder laugh. It was pure Jake Paul content, bold, petty, calculated, and designed to go viral. On the surface, it looks like just another "my toy is bigger than your toy" moment between two ultra-rich fighters. But when you put the actual numbers and context behind it, the picture changes fast. Because whatever you think about Floyd Mayweather, his money nickname isn't just branding, it's literal. Over the course of his career, Floyd has earned more than $1 billion. That's not an exaggeration or internet myth. Between record-breaking pay-per-view events, guaranteed purses, back-end percentages, endorsements, and exhibitions, and you start to see why his jet isn't just a flex. It's part of an entire luxury fleet built on years at the very top of the sport. So yes, Jake Paul walking over and laughing at Floyd's 6 windows is entertaining, but that Gulfstream G650 sitting behind Mayweather is not some discount prop. Industry estimates regularly value that G650 in the region of $60 million. It's the kind of aircraft you see billionaires, heads of state, and Fortune 500 CEOs flying in. It's built for seriously long flights at high cruising speeds with cutting-edge avionics and systems designed for comfort and durability over massive distances. It's not about how many windows are visible from the tarmac standing on the runway counting windows. It's about what the jet can do when it's in the air and how it's built. Now compare that to Jake Paul's situation. For someone who came into boxing as a YouTuber and online entertainer, the speed at which he's climbed into the financial elite of the sport is honestly insane. By late 2025, his estimated net worth had already climbed to around $200 million. That's not pocket change. That puts him ahead of a lot of longtime world champions who've spent 20 years fighting. The money has come from multiple lanes. He's got boxing purses, he's got a massive social media empire, he's involved in business ventures, endorsements, and product deals. And one of the biggest spikes came from his December 2025 fight against Anthony Joshua, which reportedly earned him about $92 million in a single night, even though he lost. That fight alone confirmed what a lot of people had already suspected. Jake Paul, whether you consider him an authentic boxer or not, is one of the most financially powerful figures in the sport right now. He knows how to sell a fight, he knows how to hype drama, and he absolutely understands that in today's climate, content is currency. So when he walks up to Mayweather's jet, counts windows, and then pans over to show his own Bombardier Global Express with more visible cabin space, he's not just messing around. He's feeding the machine that made him rich in the first place. His jet, the Bombardier Global Express, is itself an ultra-luxury aircraft, reportedly valued around $40 million. It's not cheap by any stretch. Visually, it looks larger than Mayweather's. More windows, more internal cabin volume, more of that "look at all this space" vibe that plays very well on social media. And that's the core of the visual gag Jake was going for. My plane looks bigger than Floyd's, so I must be winning. But that's where things get interesting, because when you move past what looks good in a 10-second video and actually compare the jets, you start to see the difference between price and presence. Floyd's Gulfstream G650 commands a higher market value because of things you can't see from the outside standing on the runway counting windows. It's built for extremely long non-stop flights. We're talking transoceanic routes without refueling. It flies faster. It's engineered to reduce fatigue on those marathon trips. It's fitted with top-tier cockpit tech and systems that are at the very high end of private aviation. The interior isn't just leather and lights, it's custom materials, layout, and tech that quietly drive up the cost. Now, Jake's Global Express, while massive and impressive, leans more into cabin space and size. It's about room to spread out, entertain, and create that flying penthouse effect. Its range and capabilities are still excellent, No one spends $40 million on a plane that can't go anywhere, but it doesn't match the same performance and long-haul efficiency that the G650 brings. So in simple terms, Mayweather spent more on ultimate capability and technology, while Jake spent more on scale and visual impact. And that's exactly why you have this situation where the smaller-looking jet is actually worth more than the larger-looking one. It's like comparing a compact supercar to a big, flashy SUV. The SUV might take up more space in a parking lot, but that doesn't mean it costs more than the precision-engineered sports car parked next to it. None of that stops Jake from using what people can see to his advantage. The average viewer scrolling past that clip isn't pulling out aviation specs or trade values. They're reacting to the image. 6 windows versus 14. Small versus big. Old king versus new challenger. That's the arena Jake Paul thrives in.
And for him, that visual win matters. He's built his entire boxing identity on constantly pushing this idea that he's closing the gap with the legends, whether that's in money, reach, or influence. He knows he doesn't have Floyd's resume. He can't point to a 50-0 record or $1 billion+ in career earnings, but he can point to a jet that looks bigger and turn it into content. The tension between those two realities, the image and the underlying numbers, is what made that clip go viral in the first place. On one side, you have Floyd Mayweather, whose wealth didn't come from TikTok clips or influencer events. It came through decades of boxing at the highest level, negotiating huge purses, demanding back-end shares of pay-per-view, and then reinvesting and diversifying along the way. His jet isn't a symbol of new money, it's a symbol of established, sustained dominance. On the other hand, you have Jake Paul, who represents this newer wave of fighters, where attention and audience matter just as much as belts. His rise has been incredibly fast. In financial terms, he's already in rare company, and he's done it in a fraction of the time. For him, comparing planes isn't just a joke, it's a statement that he's moved into the same league where these comparisons are even possible. But the reality is, when you strip away the performance, the jokes, and the angles, Floyd is still ahead by a massive distance. A net worth north of $1 billion versus roughly $200 million isn't a close race. A $60 million jet versus a $40 million jet isn't nothing. The gap is there, and it's huge. Jake's size-based mockery might tilt the optics for a moment, but the deeper math still favors money by a landslide. And that's what makes the whole situation almost perfectly on brand for both of them. Floyd Mayweather has always been about the details that most people miss, the calculated defenses, the careful opponent selection, the precise contracts and percentages that made sure he got every cent he was owed. Even his jet, smaller looking, more expensive, higher spec, fits that philosophy. Jake Paul has always been about the spectacle, the bigger image, the shareable moment. He sees an opportunity to create a side-by-side comparison that makes him look like he's outdone a legend, and he takes it. That's how he's turned himself from an influencer into a fighter who can pull 9-figure paydays out of the air. The online reaction shows exactly how this neatly divides people. Some fans laugh and ride with Jake, seeing it as a cheeky moment where the younger fighter shows he's not intimidated by the old guard. Others rush to defend Floyd, pointing out that the price tag, the engineering, and the career behind that smaller jet completely overshadow the window count gag. But whether you're Team Jake or Team Floyd, one thing is hard to argue with. Both of these men are operating on a level of wealth and access that almost no one else in boxing can touch. That's why this clip hit a nerve. It's not just two regular fighters talking trash, it's two of the richest names in the sport flexing in ways most champions can't. And yet, if you strip this all down to the core question, who actually has the better jet if you measure by cost, performance, and prestige, the answer still leans decisively towards Mayweather. Even though Jake's plane looks larger and has more windows to parade in front of a camera, Floyd's G650 simply sits in a higher bracket. He's paying for things most fans never see, but every pilot, broker, and billionaire understands. Jake, meanwhile, is paying for what every follower sees first: size. You could say that's the perfect metaphor for their public personas. Floyd's wealth is built on layers most people never notice. Jake's wealth is built on exactly what people notice instantly. What's also clear is that Jake Paul isn't going to change. Any angle he can use to make himself look like he's outshining a legend, he's going to grab it. This Jets thing isn't about aviation, it's about perception. It's about going toe-to-toe with Floyd in the arena where he's traditionally untouchable, the world of money. But when you set the clips aside and look at it like a numbers game, you still end up with a simple conclusion. Jet for jet, dollar for dollar, career for career, Floyd's aircraft is more expensive, more advanced, and more in line with a man who has generated over $1 billion from boxing and business. Jake's plane might win the optics battle when you're counting windows on social media. Floyd still wins the actual value battle when you're looking at what those planes really are and what they represent. So yes, Jake got his viral moment. He sparked debate, generated views, and reminded everyone that he's not just somewhere on the outskirts of Floyd's world. He's actually on the same runway now, literally and figuratively. But if you ask who truly won that comparison in real terms, the answer is simple. The smaller jet is still the bigger flex.